Hello, hello. Yep, I'm just kicking it, just chatting it up, chopping it up. Um, got some time, got maybe about an hour, and practicing my silence, just being mindful and all that, feeling myself, and um, thought I'd see what's going on out there in cyber world. Cause I got tired of watching alien videos after my practices. Um, and a part of me is like, what do I do? You know, like boredom. You know what I mean? Um, is peace boredom? You know what I'm saying? Another part of me is like, yeah, speak your truth. Another part of me is like, let's go do something. Let's go make history. Let's go hit the streets and, grab a drink and, just rap about our lives. You know what I'm saying? Um, Adventure. You know what I'm saying? Cause part of me is like, yeah, the happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's find some happiness. Let's figure my finger isn't shaky and I'll pull that trigger real quick. You know what I'm saying? Click, click, boom, baby. Yeah. I could talk about my talk, the way I do. Little things, the way I do. Little things, you know what I mean? I'm not doing a reading. I do usually like to read on here. I got a book from the library the other day that it's great right now, but I just thought I'd check in, see, once again, I'm not gonna lie, I been thinking about the honeys, you know what I'm saying, been thinking about, the monies, been thinking about a lot of the honey, you know what I mean, land of milk and honey, you know what I'm saying, why, you may ask? Well, because, it's beauty, you know what I mean? Been a long road. It's been a long road in this life. I've gotten disappointed. I've gotten a lot of joy. I've gotten a lot of satisfaction. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like I can keep growing. I can keep improving. I was talking with an old friend, not last night, maybe 2 nights ago. Checking in with her because I haven't talked to her in a minute, and she's just a wonderful human being. She's just consistently, for the past like 16-ish years, she's been there for me. Not all the time, both she and I had been married and got separated, and but always been friends, and had our moments, and just always there for each other. And it's cool, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate her. I think she's amazing. I think she's beautiful. I think she's incredibly smart. She's done a lot for her mom and her kids and everything. And again, her friends, the way we met, we were both working for this organization that was helping kids get sponsored. And yeah, I can appreciate those who, do something for others, for the kids, for life, you know what I mean? I mean, everybody does something for life, but I mean, like, yeah, just like, yeah, it motivates them. But going through my own self-reflection, hello, what's up, Aki? But going through my own like self-reflection and kind of, my true self and all that. Yeah, sometimes I see, because I've faced death. I took my video down here, but I've faced death so many times because I don't got to lie about it, and it's nothing, nothing bragging. It's just the truth. I faced death so many times. I had a motorcycle accident, was a bodyguard at some point. I've been close to, and anyway, so the reason why I'm saying that though is because I felt like, the fear of death hasn't okay, a couple years ago I saw one of my good old friends from childhood. I saw her son, and this kid, right? He seemed fearless to me. It seemed, kind of almost like he was reckless, you know what I mean? But I felt like it was more of a fearlessness, he wasn't like trying to hurt nobody. He wasn't like reckless in the sense that he was like, banging his head against the wall or that type of thing. And that's why to me, I was like, wow, this kid might be fearless, and I think that a lot of times kids are, they don't, they haven't gone through the trauma or been conditioned, to be afraid of something. They just kind of boldly enjoy their lives. They just boldly go about, laughing and, making people happy, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, it's like one bad apple. That's another thing, the other, I mean, for me, right, it's like I've done Sunday school, and I've like, I got my nephew, and I'm responsible for a lot of the, I'm just responsible for things out there for people. And it's interesting to me because I'm out in Seattle right now, right? And bear with me, I'm gonna take a hit off my vape. So I'm out in Seattle right now, Tequila specifically. So if you're in the area, let me know. We can do something maybe. But, I just think that the bad apple ruins the bunch. You know what I mean? So much of life is like, I mean, I gotta dig deep here. Yeah, there's so much beauty in life, like, honestly, too much maybe for me, I mean, frankly, I can't even hold back, like, the honeys out there, it's like, what do we do? What do I do? You know what I'm saying? It motivates me, no doubt about that. But at the same time, it's like it's like, of course, you gotta take care of them and everything, but we live in a connected world where, unless you're in a log cabin in the middle of nowhere where you're kind of safe from, like, just your neighbors, so to speak, just safe of the earshot, you know what I'm saying, safe of, like, nosiness, what do you, like, then, and I feel like then you can really appreciate each other. I mean, you can really appreciate each other in the busyness. I'm not trying to limit you to, to not being able to do that. But I'll be honest, for me, I have felt in my life like I've been caught up in so much of the ways of the world, you might say. I've been like, I've been, I've just always been called to things, whether it was work or invited to things or, kind of gone out on my own purpose, bringing people together and celebrating, promoting and everything. It feels to me like, I mean, the quiet's good, but all I'm trying to say is that I feel like, it's like little little things can be the best, you know. You actually, if you got the right spouse, you know what I mean? If you got the right, if you truly, you know, are like focused on one person, you know what I mean? Then it's, you know, again, let me know if I'm off base here, because I could be. I mean, again, when I was married, I only, you know, didn't make it a year, but I feel like I would love to, yeah, just have that good relationship where the two of us, you know what I'm saying, could just, you know, just be about each other, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, you know, I know that life is constant change, and, you know, it's kind of like, how can there never be no struggle or no challenge or no, you know, it feels like there's always going to be something. Unless you got to nirvana, surrender state, unless you done your due diligence and just caking consciously. I mean, sometimes it feels like that's exactly what I'm doing, just caking consciously, you know what I mean? Because I do me, and it's great, you know, and I find out how, you know, again, like, I find out that I'm appreciated, and I find out that, like, you know, I'm loved more than I see all the time, you know what I mean? But still, you know, I kind of look forward to the future where I'll think to myself, like, oh, you know, this would be great, you know what I'm saying? J. Cole and Wayne dropped a new track, Forgive Me, Father, and shit's a banger. One of the best, man. I mean, Wayne and Cole together. Ooh, if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's motivating. It's just like, makes you want to live. It makes you want to, like, understand life. You know what I'm saying? It makes you kind of like remember life. But it's just one of those songs. I mean, songs like that don't come along very often. So you may notice here the blade in the background. I can appreciate a sharp tool, because I am of this ancestry. I am of the Bushido. You know, I am of the sacred path of serving that Lord. You know what I'm saying? Serving that source. You know. 日本語で違うけど、英語でまだ explaining. So anyway, you know, I mean, back to the little things, you know what I'm saying? I think that, like, being spiritual or being, like, religious or observant, I do feel is really kind of the key, like, in evolving, you know, like, in the sense that, or conscious, you know, in the sense that you are mindful of your own thoughts, but it's not just about the inside. I think that inside is priority, but you got to understand that, again, we're not, you know, you're not, there's a word for it, it's escaping me right now, but, you know, you can't be solipsistic, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not alone, you know what I mean? We live in a connected world, so we must be able to understand, to communicate, and appreciate our outer world on some level. All right, hold on. I will say that, you know, again, being caught up, like, I think that we get caught up a lot. Again, I felt caught up. I felt like I got distracted or taken away from my purpose at times. And while I do mean that sincerely, I don't want to overemphasize it, because, like I said, I feel like I'm still just caking, you know, in a lot of ways. Like, I just got there's just so much, like, time, so much, like, so much that can be done, and so much that can be experienced. And what can I say? Welcome. And so anyway, this was supposed to, let me see, I was supposed to have like a different banner on here about, like, speak your mind, because again, I'm not just trying to do a monologue per se. I mean, I can keep talking. We'll just watch, just listen close, and you'll hear me go off. I'll just keep going. But if you want to come up and chop it up, just let me know. I'm not going to hold you back. So let me know. But again, back to the relationship thing, you know what I'm saying? The reality of relationship, right? It's like, we don't come into this world alone, and we leave behind something. So what I'm trying to say is that we're all in a relationship, you know what I mean? We're all connected. And understanding your present experience, whether or not that is being alone or on some device or with the person you live with or the person that you're closest to, I think in a lot of ways should be prioritized. You know what I mean? Like, if you get your immediate circumstances straight, then you can do more in the external, in the outside, right? And I feel that way. I feel like that is kind of being conscious, you know what I mean? Like, I don't just feel that, but if you're in the moment, and I'm not saying, again, be a pushover, I'm not saying, be any kind of way per se, but I'm just saying, like, you got to start with the basics before you get to the advanced. And yeah, so, but nonetheless, again, I'm saying I still feel like I have a lot of time. So I jumped on an app today to see if, who was in the area. There are places I could go to try and meet people. But for now, I feel like this may be the most reliable or efficient way of doing it. Because, I would love to leave behind, legacy of true compassion, or true, kindness, true understanding, true strength, true. I'd like to get out there and have. One of my boys just dropped a new freestyle, looks like. But I'd love to get out there and, like, sow my seed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I feel like, what does it mean? For myself, of course, that means, building wealth, like, but not just in a stereotypical way, but including it, because, while I have experienced relationships and women and a spouse that, have been supportive, I felt like that's the thing. There's, like, external circumstances that have detracted, and I'm not gonna lump it all on someone, or any kind of event or anything like that. But to me, it feels like if you can have that good, true one person that, stands beside you, shares a goal, shares, an aspiration or value, man, it changes everything, because now here's the thing though. I think that I'm going to say this conscious companion, because I think a lot of times, again, it's like we're operating on a routine, or in some kind of, on some kind of, we're operating within a certain structure that's like, oh, I do this and you do that. And again, that I feel like is a part of it. But I do not think that's the thing. It should be limited to it, but you got to get your order right. You got to get your priorities straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take care of each other. And I don't know. For me, I'll say this. I feel, for me, I know I can be, perhaps a little bit overly meticulous or OCD, you might say, perfectionistic, and that sometimes can crush the spontaneity, it can crush the mystery, but too much of here's the thing, right? Like, because I've experienced paranormal, supernatural things in life, I am aware that, I could be wrong, that basically I could allow myself to lean into the mystery more. But, I guess the main part of my message, what I'm saying is that you got to live with yourself. You got to live with yourself. You got to live with your actions, your history, your your effect on the world. And that's the thing. I mean, like, safety first. It's like, again, if you're gonna raise a family, then it's not like you don't want to be, what's it called? You don't want to coddle. You don't want to, like, be overbearing, but you also got to make sure everything, you got to, like, what's it called? You got to, like, get your house right. You got to get your, you got to, like, do the things to make sure your kid doesn't wander off and, hurt himself. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of come back to, while being open to having too much of a perfectionistic bend, I don't blame myself, and I also don't regret. I have been brokenhearted, and I have been surprised at how painfully how painful, separations have been. But again, it's not only in the past, but when I go back to it, if I ever talk about them with anybody, it's like I can go step by step through the timeline of what happened. And unless, again, I'm given some insight, unless I'm given a perspective that's like, oh, well, wow, clearly I did something that I shouldn't have done, or I could have done this or something like that. I feel like, again, I do not deny my life. I do not deny my story. I do not deny the truth. I have not always paid attention to the wife. I know that there were moments where I really was not paying attention to the wife, where things changed. But I accept it. It is what it is. And that's why I'm just moving forward, looking for the right lady, the right woman, the right love, to, kind of evolve with, to make music with, to make love, what I'm saying? To one of my buddies the other day, I was hanging out, and he was talking to me about, because I'm in Seattle, right? And there was this trans event that was going on in the park not far away. And, he asks me about it because I guess that he could sense that I am not, I'm not all about it, Like, it's like, I'm not, I know trans people, I've known them. but I'm not like, gung ho, like, like, what I'm saying, do whatever, do as thou wilt, what I'm saying. I'm not I think that, I mean, there are lines in life, there's a line, there's a point of no return, there's a, you know what I mean? Like, we got to deal with reality, not just act as if everything is in the imagination, you know what I mean? And, yeah, so he asked me about it, and I tell him about something like, I mean, maybe he wanted me to say something like, "Oh, I'm not pro gay marriage, or I'm not like, for it, or something like that." Or I don't know what he was expecting, but I wasn't like, I wasn't like, I said that, again, it's kind of like, that's the thing. There are lines, and I know my line. You know what I'm saying? You can do you, but don't, but again, like, I'm me. So, focus on you. And he could, he respected it. But I feel like, there's this sensationalism, you might say. There's like an underlying angst, I feel like, in the general public, that is, kind of like, there's a general angst that is, there was a writer that kind of expressed it very well. And he said this thing about, it's not just alienation, but it's like, that, I'm trying to recall the quote, but he was basically getting at this notion that a lot of people live with like a hidden sorrow, kind of like, a sense that, like, there's maybe non-purposed life, or maybe like, like a sunken sadness, that, is paralyzing, that prevents you from really, being joyful, really just, living your best life. And, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. I'm always getting at something, you know what I mean? But how are you doing out there? How you doing, Matt? I see you popping in and out, sending much love and blessings. We are one. Maybe you a curious cat. I feel like I'm a curious cat, and it might have killed me, but it brought me back. So, aha, my Baha'i brother. Ya Baha'u'llah. Sending again the love and all that. I'm going to invite you up because you're the man. I saw your live the other day. It's cool. Yeah, and actually I wouldn't mind talking about Baha'u'llah. I wouldn't mind talking about Abdul Baha, the Bab, and what is Baha'i today, because I'm a part of the Baha'i community. I did not go through with the initiation. I am not an official Baha'i, but I am considered a part of the community because, again, humankind is one brotherhood. So we need to work together, find a common tongue. You know what I'm saying? Do what we do. It's how we prosper. It's how we make money. You know what I'm saying? It's how we take care of our honeys. You know what I'm saying? It's how we let the laughs in because it's funny. Quentin, how are you?